Sunday night is Oscar night, and this year's Academy Awards will look a lot different than any we've seen in the past. Theaters, as you know, closed last year, so most people watch films at home, and the ceremony itself will be spread out and socially distanced. Now, this is also a landmark year when it comes to diversity, with African Americans and Asian Americans considered favorites in many categories. That could set up a night that is filled with political speeches dealing with things like social justice, policing, and much more. Now, before I get to my guest, Chris Connolly has a look at the films and the nominees.
The top categories at the Oscars still up for grabs. Supporting actor boasts an eye-opening turn from Chicago 7 Sacha Baron Cohen. But this Oscar's going to Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah.
I am a revolutionary.
Things look less certain in supporting actress. Ya Jung-yoon is a gloriously disruptive force in the exquisitely crafted Minari. In Best Actor, it's anticipated that the late Chadwick Boseman's name will be called
I got talent
for the compelling desperation he brings to Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and 2, for his life's work in film. The upset special would be 83-year-old Anthony Hopkins, giving all he's got in The Father. And then there's Best Actress, the year's best category, where anyone could win.
I am facing this!
Vanessa Kirby, Pieces of a Woman, phenomenal. Andra Day, The United States versus Billie Holiday. Welcome to the movies, superstar.
I'm on my way.
That leaves the very best of the best, Viola Davis from Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. If she does win, she'll be breathing in some rare Oscar air, becoming the first black female actor to earn 2 Academy Awards. Best Picture and Best Director look like a twofer for Nomadland and Chloe Zhao. She'd be just the second woman to win Best Director and the first woman of color. A filmmaker from China telling this on-the-road in America saga. Star Frances McDormand winning as well. She's one of the film's producers.
And joining us now, Michael Musto, journalist and commentator. And I'll get into all the predictions from you, but is this going to be a fun night? And I don't say that disparagingly, but given all of the news, obviously, and the social upheaval that we've dealt with in the past year and even in the past few weeks, is there going to be almost, an expectation that whoever receives better talk about something other than just the film?
Oh, absolutely. We all have new values. I'm ready to go back to superficiality, get rid of those values. But right now we're feeling it. And the movies all deal with seemingly, ripped out of the headlines, very topical subject matter. It's going to be a scaled down Oscars. They're expecting very low ratings. So a lot of the big movies from 2020 were pushed ahead to this year for obvious reasons. Still, they came up with a very rich and diverse group of nominees. By the way, The Village Voice is back as a quarterly, and I'm in it with my Oscar predictions in the new Village Voice. If you look in certain kiosks and boxes, you might find it in Manhattan.
Thank God. The Village Voice should never have gone away. And I know it's in a different form, but anyone who has even a scintilla of New York in them, this feels right, at least. So you heard what Connolly's got to say. Where do you agree with him and where do you not?
I agree with most of those predictions. Nomadland seems to be a lock to win. It's about a woman played by Frances McDormand who loses her husband, loses her job, and gets in her van and just travels and becomes part of this evanescent, very transitory nomad community. It's beautifully done. Chadwick Boseman, I agree, will win actor. It's the first chance for the Oscars to acknowledge him. It's also the last chance. For Best Actress, I'm actually going with Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman. It's the ultimate Me Too movie. It's a rape revenge fantasy, and she's absolutely extraordinary. But if Viola Davis won, or Vanessa Kirby, or really Frances McDormand won, nobody is going to complain about any of that.
Michael, I would presume that after the picks are made and you're going to write your next column, historically, you would write which films got which number of awards, forgetting even the noms. Isn't there almost a new math now where there's a calculation as to, depending on which community of color, who was snubbed, how many that were won, how many nominees there were from different groups? There is an overdue reckoning, I get that, but is that part of the new mathematical equation here, that different groups, ethnicities, genders, sexual representations, etc., that's how we're going to look at Oscars going forward as well.
Absolutely, because a few years ago we had what was criticized as Oscars so white. They left out some glaring people of color who deserve to be nominated. They have since slowly tried to evolve to make the voting populace there a little more diverse, and I think that will continue. And they've also become more cognizant of including everyone. And this year, Daniel Kaluuya is going to win supporting for Judas and the Black Messiah. He plays Black Panther, Fred Hampton. Yoon Yoo-jung is going to win for Minari, as was just discussed. She plays the offbeat grandmother. Her grandson doesn't like her for being offbeat, but she doesn't fight back against the grandson. She loves him and all of his feistiness. A wonderful performance, and she's sort of the Korean Meryl Streep. So we're going to see many aspects of diversity, a lot of tallying of who won what. Mank, interestingly, about Herman Mankiewicz, who may or may not have written some of Citizen Kane, got the most nominations. It got 10 nominations. I think it only has a chance to win cinematography and nothing else, and maybe production design.
You know, I know you happen to agree with what I'm going to say, but I think the Oscars aren't just a frivolous evening. They're important, and I'd like to see more people watching them again. I have one small suggestion. I'm curious if you, Michael, got to, run the show. For one, nobody cares who your agent is. Nobody cares, about, people who help put your wardrobe together. I think they should have like a credit list going by the side so you can do all the mandatory things and then talk about the film itself or something substantive. How else would you make this more viewable and less pro forma?
I agree. The laundry lists are so boring and so pointless. And I hate when they don't even put the last name. It's like, I want to thank Joanne and Fred and Louise. It's like, who are they? Are they the bathroom attendant? And who cares? Yeah, I think important topical speeches would be recommended. This is going to be an interesting Oscars because it is going to reflect the topicality of our times and the seriousness. But it's also something we're turning to for some fun and some escapism. Interestingly, the 5 songs are so bad, in my opinion, that are nominated for Best Song. They're all going to be done in the pre-show. There's a 90-minute pre-show starting at 6:30. The songs aren't even going to be on the Oscars. I don't know how they're going to fill 3+ hours without even entertainment aspects, but it remains to be seen. And I don't think I'm going to make it to the post program.
Well, I will tell you, it feels good saying Michael Musto and the Village Voice. So, again, glad that it's back and not that you ever left. But, Michael, thank you for a few minutes. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Richard.
All right, everybody, when we come back, we're going to pivot to politics. We'll be speaking with a Russia expert and writer who says that the Republican Party is falling apart and Trump is like Leonid Brezhnev was as the Soviet Union collapsed. A really interesting analogy. We'll get into that after this.